So today we're going to learn about Pythagorean theorem and its converse. This is day 1. Pythagorean theorem. In a right triangle, so this only works in a right triangle, the square of the lengths of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the square of the lengths of the legs. So look over here, it's a right triangle. Okay, the equation that we're going to use is c squared equals a squared plus b squared. We have used this before in class. The important thing is your C is your hypotenuse. How we determine a hypotenuse is it's the longest leg, or you can utilize that it's across from your right angle. That is very, very important. You have the proper sides to use this formula. So in example 1, it says find the length of the hypotenuse of the right triangle. So we're going to look at picture A. We have an 8, a 6, and an x. Okay, your x is your hypotenuse. It's across from your right angle. We're going to plug this into our formula. C squared equals a squared plus b squared. Okay, so plugging it in. My C is my hypotenuse, so it's x squared equals a squared plus b squared. Those are your legs. It does not matter which one goes where. They are interchangeable. Okay, so we can write 8 squared plus 6 squared. Now we're going to just do the math and simplify this equation. So you get x squared equals 8 squared is 64 plus 6 squared, which is 36. You're going to combine 64 plus 36 is 100. So you get x squared equals 100. You have to solve for x. So you have to take the square root of both sides to get rid of the squared. Take the square root of both. So x will equal the square root of 100 is 10. So our length here in our picture is 10. I would like you guys to do example B. You'll be able to see this in my notes that I posted online, the actual answer. So I'm going to continue moving on in the video. Example 2. It says, identify the unknown side as a leg or a hypotenuse. Then find the unknown side lengths of the right triangle. Write your answer in simplest radical form. So that means keep it in radical form. Break down your radical like we have done with geometric mean. So we're going to do example 1, okay, part A of this. So we have to identify first if this is a leg or a hypotenuse, the information that we are missing. Okay, so I'm looking at this picture. I see my right angle. Across from it is always my hypotenuse, so it must be a leg. So x will be a leg. That is very, very important that we know that and we plug it into the proper part of our equation. So from here, we're going to fill in our equation. So this is my hypotenuse, so it's going to be 5 squared equals my legs, okay, squaring them. So it's going to be x squared plus 3 squared. Simplify and do the math here. 5 squared is 25 equals x squared plus 3 squared is 9. Now subtract your 9 to the other side. We want to get everything together and get my x squared alone. So you get x squared on that side. 25 minus 9 is 16. We just learned in example 1, to get rid of our squared, we have to square root to both sides. So we will get x to equal 4. So my missing side here is 4. You guys are going to work on the second part of this problem. The answer is posted in my notes as well. It will be a radical, and I show you how to break it down in my notes. Okay, let's move on to example 3. All right, so I already drew my picture. It says, oh, I'm sorry, let me move it down. Okay, I already drew my picture. It says a 16-foot ladder rests against the side of the house, and the base of the ladder is 4 feet away. Approximate, it should say how. High above the ground is the top of the ladder. All right, so now here's my house. Here's my ladder. It told me my ladder is 16 feet long. So I'm going to put a 16 foot here. So we know that that's how long it is. It also told us it was 4 feet away from the house. So the base of the ladder is 4 feet away. So that means from here to here is 4 feet. Okay. The ground and the house will meet at a right angle there. So we are going to solve for our missing side length. Do we all see the triangle that just created? So we're going to use our Pythagorean theorem like we've been doing for the past 2 problems. And we're going to figure out, are we missing a leg or a hypotenuse? So we're missing a leg. So we're going to plug this into our equation. It's c squared equals a squared plus b squared. So filling in my hypotenuse, we have 16 squared equals x squared plus 4 squared. Complete the math here. 16 squared is 256 equals x squared plus 4 squared is 16. Subtract that 16 over. You get x squared equals 240. Square root both sides. We get x to equal the square root of 240. Can we take the square root of 240? Well, we can, but it comes out as a decimal. Okay, so I'm going to solve this both ways for us. Okay, it's going to be, if you put this into your calculator, square root of 240, you get x to be approximately 15.5 feet. Okay, I also want to break this down as a radical just to make sure we're all on the same page of how to solve this. Okay, so break down your 240. Okay, I picked 5 and 48. I'm going to break down 48 is 4 and 12. I'm going to break down 12 to 4 and 3. Now I can continue breaking down my 4s, but I already have pairs of them, so I'm going to circle them. Okay, I have no other pairs. I'm left over with a 5 and a 3. So remember, your friends go on the outside of the radical, so it's 4. My leftover people go on the inside, and that's radical 15. So both of these answers are correct. You guys are going to work on example 4. It's the same exact concept. Example 5. It says the area of an isosceles triangle with side lengths 10 meters, 13 meters, and 13 meters. So how this is going to happen is you're going to draw an isosceles triangle. Okay, isosceles triangle has 2 congruent sides, and that's the 13 and the 13. So I'm going to fill this into my shape. I have a 13 meters, a 13 meters, and a 10 meters. Okay, it wants us to find the area. To find area of a triangle is half my base times my height. Well, we have our base, we just don't have the height. So we need to work on getting the height. How am I going to find the missing side length here? I can make a right angle right inside there because I drew my height, which is an altitude, which meets at a perpendicular angle. So what I can do is I can use our Pythagorean theorem just like we've done for the rest of these problems. This 10 gets divided into 2 equal parts on both sides. We are missing our height, which is here. So we're going to plug this into our equation. It's going to be 13 squared equals x squared plus 5 squared. 13 squared is 169 equals x squared plus 25. Subtract your 25 over, you get x squared to equal 144. Square root both sides, you get x to equal 12. That is my height. Now I have to plug it into my area equation that they want us to solve. area equals half base times height. So area equals half. My base is 10 times my height of 12. Solve it. Half of 10 is 5. 5 times 12 is 60. So our area equals 60 meters squared. All right, you guys are going to complete example 6. They're exactly the same concept as the question we just completed. Last part of our notes, okay, is Pythagorean triples. So how Pythagorean triples work is it's a set of 3 positive integers, a, b, c, that satisfy our equation c squared equals a squared plus b squared. These are very, very common numbers that people use in their right triangles. So you can utilize the concept of memorizing your Pythagorean triples. Okay, you can just use Pythagorean theorem. You will always come out with the answer. A lot of professors and teachers have you memorizing these. It's not something you have to memorize because you can always use your Pythagorean theorem to solve for the problem. So in example 7, it says find the length of the hypotenuse of a right triangle. So they give you these 3 sides. You can use Pythagorean theorem to solve it. Okay, or if you can memorize your chart and you know a 5, 12, 13 is similar to the 10, 24, 26. 10, 24, x will have to equal 26. You're just finding the missing side. Now, Pythagorean theorem always works in all 3 of these problems. All right, so the last thing that you guys have to do today, okay, you have to complete your exit ticket, which is a couple of review questions, and then you have a homework assignment. Okay, our homework is on page 552. Numbers 9 to 19. I will post it on our Google Classroom as always. Have a good day, guys.